Hey guys, Zane Hyde here from the Nexus Schoolhouse, bringing you another episode of Over Explained today with main tank Blaze. We're going to opt for the main tank build today, and that means we're going new habits at level 1 in order to give us unstoppable, in order to guarantee we can connect with our CC. Level 4 we'll opt for oil dispersal over incinerator gauntlets so that we have a little more control of the battlefield. At 7 we're going to take Baby's first Blaze talent in adhesive petroleum, allowing us to continue to get that slow on ignited petroleum. Level 10 we're going to go for bunker, of course. Level 13 fuel leak. Level 16 thermal protection to give us more CC, and at level 20 we'll opt for the upgrade to bunker, fortified bunker. Now main tank Blaze is a bit of a controversial hero. You don't really see people play him correctly, and that's because they don't manage his W. In order to play main tank Blaze correctly, you need to have two things. One, you need to have a competent range DPS that's going to take advantage of your slow to damage things, kind of like the inverse of Tyrael speeding up a hero. You're slowing down the opponents, it does the same thing. And two, you need to throw down your W before you look for an E in order to guarantee that the E is going to connect. And three, if you do want to guarantee an E is going to connect into CC, you have to pop your D first and have new habits complete at level 1. That's kind of the checklist of how to play main tank Blaze correctly. Those are the main things you want to look for when you're trying this hero. You just want to control space with your W as best as you can. Right there, we're guaranteed to hit the slow because of the Brightwing polymorph, and we get a good stun on Anub and almost kill him right there. And then I do believe Phoenix was starting top this game, so we are just looking for good chip damage onto the wall. And right here, you can see my W is giving vision of anything that rotates out of that gate, and it's also slowing targets directly on the gate itself. Right here, we've already picked up 2 globes, but unfortunately, I didn't talent new habits immediately, so we didn't get the credit for those. Oh well. And right here, we're just going to look to control space as best as we can adjacent to our team and look to tank by putting down the W directly in front of the wall, controlling the space of the enemy team. Deathwing does the exact same thing with his W, by the way, and it's one of the reasons main tank Deathwing works so well on this particular map, is because you can push enemy heroes into their gate and then put that W down and lock them in it, basically. Topside right now, our Deathwing is having a bit of trouble dealing with the Phoenix Rexar, but the Phoenix is going to rotate down because we're going to apply enough pressure on the bottom side of the map to force him to respond. Now right here, we're just going to look at the enemy bruiser camp. There's no reason for us not to invade. We have a Deathwing in the air, and Deathwing is able to control any and all points into any amount of CC. We do get a lot of pings from our team indicating, yep, we're following up. And right here, you can see that my E is interrupted by a root from the enemy Junkrat, well placed by him. And that's going to prevent me from being able to lock him down. Right here, we're just trading aggressively. We're going to ignite our oil spill, stand on it for a couple of seconds for a little bit of healing, and then we're just going to rotate right on out. Main tank Blaze isn't that difficult to play. It's just habitual more than anything else. You need to remember to put down your W before your E. You need to remember to stand in your Ws after you've laid them down and ignite them for that healing. And you need to remember that in order for you to be an effective engage, you need to have your new habits complete. And that's really it. That's the entire checklist. That's everything you need to do to be successful in main tank Blaze. Thank you for watching your video. I'm going to cut it off here. I'm kidding. We're going to watch the whole game because there's quite a bit we can learn from watching a main tank Blaze gameplay in this situation, such as the decision making of a bunker. Bunker is a very, very interesting ultimate. When it first came out, it was a 35-second cooldown with Neural, which was really fun, especially because nobody knew how broken Bunker was, so you could just body block people left, right, and center right in front of their gates. Now with the longer cooldown, it's a little bit harder to practice, but you can still make those same plays that you would back in the day. Right here, we're going to get a good stun onto the enemy Phoenix, going to deal some good damage, find the Q, and then we're going to maybe find the finish with the Zul'jin? No, not quite. He does find the Ana before he dies, but isn't quite able to finish off the Phoenix. We're going to back up into the Dragon because it's a little bit dangerous to engage into Dragon. She's going to win every trade every single day. Right here, we're just going for the globe right here, and then hopefully grab this one as well. Nice. We're already at 10 globes of the 15 we require in order to complete our quest. We do get booped over here by trees on the Junkrat. I do put a W down and I look for the 2-man stun into this corner. I pop my D to deal a bit of additional damage, and then I pop my Q to just finish them off just on the tail end right there. We do see the Phoenix has teleported out, so we're going back to control this point. And Braxis is really about point control more than anything else. It's about a resource trade war between you and the enemy team, right? Which support can support better, which tank can take less damage, which DPS can be more efficient. Our Testar does get fried in the corner there by the Junkrat, unfortunately. That is going to be a bit of the story of this game. Our Testar has a very hard game, and he did opt for auto attack, which I think makes his life just harder than it already was. I do put the W down right there, but I'm not able to stand on it and ignite it. And just one time, I don't have my tap. I don't really have any resources, so I need to either get a TP from Brightwing, or I just need to back and get some mana. And I am going to elect to back and get some mana right here. There's no resources left for me on the map, and there's nothing really I can do to prevent this push from happening that's going to be occurring very shortly. We're likely to lose our fort at the beginning here, but that's not the end of the world. We don't really need our fort because the next objective is going to be in the opposite lane. So as long as we're able to protect that fort, we're going to be okay for the future objectives. Now, At this point in time on Blaze, our main priority is to control the enemy space. Again, same thing as per usual. We're going to use our W to try to lock down the enemies. And right there, we're going to stun aggressively in order to protect our Tassadar, who was, again, booped by the Junkrat, unfortunately. We do get some good damage onto the enemy Junkrat right there. Talking Trees, ex-teammate of mine, good friend, good player. Definitely competent at the Junkrat and definitely capable of killing us in this situation, but we're able to manage the defense just barely. We do find the zap and we find the tail end damage right on the Anubrak right there. I am looking to chase with my E right here, but my team's pretty far away, so I just end up turning around, make a legal U-turn, and look for some more globes so that I can start finishing my quest. I do believe we step up here in order to get some good damage onto the enemy fort. There's our 13th globe, 2 more, and we're going to have Unstoppable on our D, which is going to be fantastic for engaging into a Junkrat Anub composition, where the Anub can reactively press Q to interrupt your E, and where the Junkrat can just put a trap down and basically deny your engage in that entire arc. There's our 14th globe, 1 more, and we'll be done. Right here, we're just looking for some free damage onto the enemy fort, as much as we can get, away with. Right here, I do get chased down by the enemy team a little bit. If you're ever scared as Blaze, you can always opt to E backwards as long as there's nothing body blocking you. It is actually a very effective disengage, but it is a conditional disengage, as it is a conditional engage. Unlike a power slide, you don't have as much versatility because of the small windup. And also, you need to keep in mind that you are body blocked by any enemy heroes that can body block you. So if you are hemmed in by the enemy tank, or if you are thrown overhead by a hero such as a Garrosh or hooked by a Stitches, you might not have a way out if you're not able to guarantee your E path is clear and open. Just something to keep in mind for when you're looking to disengage out of fights rather than engage. We're going to fast forward just a little bit here through the early doldrums. We are engaging and invading this Bruiser camp once again. Story of this game is really this Bruiser camp. We do look for the stun there onto the Phoenix, but we're not quite able to find it into her move speed. Oh well, not the end of the world. We are looking for the Deathwing to come land on this and finish it up. And right here, I'm just looking to sustain as best as I can with the Brightwing in the back. She is going to opt to TP onto me, giving me a lot of healing. I'm going to stand on my oil spill, and then I'm just going to look for the stun right here, and then we are able to find the finish onto the Phoenix. Fantastic. My Deathwing is going wild on the point, able to absolutely roast that Anubarak alive. Really would be cool if there was some sort of fire synergy between like Kael'thas and Deathwing and Blaze that allowed Blaze to heal off it, but I think that would be terribly unbalanced. And at the end of the day, we're able to take the Bruiser camp. Top is still going to be pushing in. Bottom is fortunately not taking any damage. Our new habits is complete, and we're pretty much ready to fight. We are going into the 10s very shortly here. We are going to be seeing standard ults from pretty much everybody on both sides. They're going to see the laser on the Phoenix. It is a solution to deal with the Zerg wave. I am going to look for the stun right here, just onto the Anubarak. Find a little bit of damage on him. Break his W, so he doesn't have a shield for just a few seconds. One other thing to keep in mind on Blaze that is a little bit difficult for new players is to have good mana management. You don't want to spam his abilities too much, especially his E, which is his most expensive ability, clocking in at 45 mana. His oil spell is 50 mana, so it's technically 5 less, but you're constantly spamming this button. And again, I'm going to remind you guys of the 1.5 rule. You can spam 1.5 buttons off cooldown and not run into a deficit of mana, but the second you start pressing more than that off cooldown, you will start running out of mana. So try to keep in mind that if you just spam your W, you'll be fine for mana, but the second you start spamming your Q or your E as well, you will start running into a deficit. And at that point, you need to be picking up globes, you need to be looking to manage your tap, right? You need to be getting resources elsewhere. You do take a huge chunk of damage right here. Brightwing's going to TP onto us to fix that. I do throw my W right there onto the Phoenix, who sidesteps out of the oil immediately. Good play by them. And then we're just going to step up for the globe here, and then we're going to run away because that is a dragon, and we do not trade into dragons. We run away from dragons. Dragons are very scary. The same way the enemy team runs away from Deathwing, because dealing with Deathwing is quite difficult. They do use the laser there kind of wastefully. I don't think they needed to proc that at all. But again, what's bad for them is good for us, and I suppose we'll just take the trade. We are just looking to ignite oil spills, and I do mess up that Q right there. And we are looking to ignite our oil spill so that I can get some healing right here because my HP is very, very low. I definitely misplayed right there by not igniting that oil spill correctly. And definitely misplayed by not using a W there while I have 2 available. If you have a W available at any point in time, you're effectively wasting the cooldown because you could be getting an additional charge while you're waiting. So always try to have 1 W out on the ground. Right there, we're just going to bunker defensively, and we're going to back right on up. That tire doesn't have the ability to kill us from this amount of HP, and we actually managed to find the kill on the tire with the Q from the Tassadar coming out of that bunker. Fantastic. We're just looking at the enemy Phoenix. We do find the full combo into her. I do pop my D to prevent me from being CC'd by the enemy Anubrak, but it doesn't really matter because the damage comes from my Q and from my trait, which were fired at that point anyway. I'm going to get another TP from my Brightwing here. Fantastic. I do believe she opted for the Hyper Shift at level 1, which is why she's able to do that so frequently. At this point in time, we're just going to rotate on up, maybe look for a gank onto this two-man right here. I do find a nice stun right onto the Junkrat right there, but he is able to bounce himself out with the aid of that W, and then we're just going to walk forward very slowly, find a little bit of damage onto this tower, and then look to back up and rotate into top. I'm going to fast forward through the doldrums once again. We do find a turn and a stun onto that enemy Phoenix, and then the Anurak does engage on us, and we have the landing from the Deathwing coming in, but he is coming in at relatively low health, so it is a little bit dangerous for him. We're trying to find the finish on the Anno before the proc from the Alex Straza ult goes off. We're not able to quite find it in time. At this point, I'm in a lot of danger for the enemy team, so I'm going to proc my bunker just to protect myself. I'm going to pop in and out just to get that armor. You can bunker dance to a degree in the modern day, even with the bunker nerfs. And right there, we do see the tower coming in. We're trying to Q it. We're trying to damage it. But unfortunately, our Taster is going to end up going down, i.e. defensively to get out of dodge. And at this point in time, we're safe and out. We are able to tap, regain our mana. We do see our Brightwing is going to just simply base her so she can TP back in. At this point in time, we've lost the objective, so we need to go to the next phase, which is defending versus the objective. The enemy team does opt to take the boss here and then rotate back down. Take this point. We are looking for damage on the enemy team as best as we can find it. We're not quite able to find anything here. I do believe they all managed to get away perfectly fine. Another Planet Cracker, kind of wasteful in my opinion to use it in that capacity, but whatever. We do pop the bunker right here, and then my Taster does have an overextension, gets stunned by the Rexstar, displaced, and at that point they're just kind of dead. And here we lose the point again, and the enemy team ends up picking up the objective finally. We do back right on up. We have to clear the boss in the bottom, and then we have to head top to clear it. So a little bit of a dire game so far. We've kind of been losing for the last 11 minutes straight. We're behind on EXP. We're having a bit of a difficult time. So this is definitely going to have to be a game we're going to need to turn around in order for us to pull off the W. Now, whether or not we do pull off the W, I will leave up to your discretion. You will find out at the end of the game either way. I'm going to look for a dismount right there on that right side bush to see if I can prevent the enemy team from rotating quickly, but I don't actually end up finding any of them because they rotate pretty slowly on out of there, which is fine. I do end up looking for a stun onto anything I can find here, but I don't quite see one that is guaranteed to hit a target that actually matters. We take the free kill onto the Misha there, who has been harassing our rotation, and then we're just going to look to mosey on out. I do look for the raw stun there, which is incorrect. And you can see I take a lot of damage and am punished and am forced to proc my Unstoppable in order to survive there. And that's what happens when you miss your E on Blaze. It's similar to what will happen if you miss your Q on ETC. You generally will be pretty heavily punished for that mistake. Right here, we're just barely able to ignite our oil spill that comes out from our level 13. That's why that oil spill was so large right there. And we're able to just mosey on out of here. A bit of a useless team fight. We kind of traded nothing for nothing, but that's okay. We're able to take our Bruiser Camp right here, heal up our resources, and get ourselves a little bit healthier. We pick up a globe, and then we start roaming into the Bruiser Camp. And again, story of this game is invade the Bruiser Camp with Deathwing off cooldown. I am going to eat this trap with my D in order to proc stun onto Phoenix. We do find a lot of damage onto the Phoenix right there, and then the Deathwing is going to land and basically claim this point for us. We find a lot of damage onto the Anubarak there. That is a dragon, but we have a dragon of our own, so we're not too scared. We find a fat 4-man stun onto the enemy front and backline, which have merged together into that little pool. And then we are able to get the cap on the Bruiser point without any of us dying, thankfully. The Zul'jin was lowered quite a bit, but not killed. The Deathwing does look for the forward engage here, so I opt to stun the enemy Rexstar. The Rexstar is feared into us, and we're able to find the finish with our Deathwing just barely surviving on the escape. Anub chases and tries to find the Deathwing, but I'm able to find a stun onto him and finish off that target, and then we're able to simply kill the tire to prevent Deathwing from dying. Fantastic play all around by our team, really good support play by our Brightwing, good flanking control by our Zul'jin, and fantastic point standing by our Deathwing, who absolutely perfectly calculated his limitations just barely before he died. We're going to pop our bunker there just to tank the keep a little bit. Probably an improper usage of bunker, frankly. I think holding it there probably would have been much smarter, especially considering I'm just going to get a heal from the Brightwing anyway. But we do manage to snipe this keep out, and then I'm just going to fast forward to us rotating on out of here. So at this point in time, we finally turned the game. This is the first time in the game we've actually been ahead in the last 15 minutes, and it's definitely better for us to be in this position. We finally turned the game around. We're firmly in the driver's seat, and at this point in time, it's our game to win and our game to lose. Taster is going to opt to face check a bush. I'm going to put a bunker right next to him, and he's going to opt to completely ignore its existence. And this is a frustration you will find with main tank plays. Your teammates just won't use the bunker. If you find that happening to you, just switch to Combustion, frankly. Combustion is a great ult for engaging with. and it's very, very powerful at 20 as well. I do not find the stun onto the Phoenix there, unfortunately. We do find the kill onto the Misha. I opt to roll forward as quickly as I can. You can use the WQ on the Blaze to very quickly kill a Cocoon, and I find a fat 4-man stun right there, which is going to reduce the cooldown on my E to 3 seconds. I'm going to find an additional stun right here onto 2 more heroes, reducing that CD to 7 seconds down from 10. And then we're able to just kind of aggress here and roast everything with the Deathwing. Unfortunately, he does end up going down. I find another 2-man stun, again reducing my ECD down by 1.25 seconds per target stunned. Here we're kind of aggressing onto the enemy core, but my team isn't willing to commit, so we're just going to end up backing out here and kind of achieve nothing with this engage. It is at this point in time that I opt to pop my bunker and then back right on out of here. We're not going to achieve anything sticking around, so we are just going to look to full retreat. I was over-aggressing right here, and I definitely could have been punished for that had I played a little more incorrectly, but I managed to get quite fortunate that the enemy team doesn't completely punish me, and I managed to simply back. At this point in time, my team is opting to position for the boss. The boss is very easy for us to take. Again, Deathwing, unstoppable body, gets to sit on the point for free. Very difficult to push him off, and we are looking to win the race to 20s at this point in time. Managed to take in that bot keep. We are actually up a keep versus the enemy team, surprisingly. And again, we're looking for this bruiser camp for the 4th time this game. We have been camped on this bruiser camp for a very long time. Again, story of this game was just this bruiser camp. I do proc my WQ right there just to get some dismounts on enemies rotating in, and then I'm going to look to proc my D and stun this Anubrak, get some damage on the enemy main tank, and then I'm going to immediately pop my bunker when I'm in danger, and I'm going to drop into the ground. I am unfortunately going to cancel my Brightwing TP off of that, but that's not the end of the world because we end up getting the bruiser camp. We have a little bit of wave control in the bottom side of the map, and we can potentially look to boss after this. I do use my E right there just to get another oil spill, as all my oil spills are currently on cooldown, just to give myself a little more healing. That's one of the other nice things about having that jet propulsion upgrade at level 13, the fuel leak. It does give you a little bit of additional healing where you might not otherwise find it, as opposed to the other two 13s, which both reduce opponent damage coming in. Now right here, our job as a tank is simply to push the enemy team off this objective as best as possible. It's going to be Deathwing's job to hold the point, but it's going to be my job to CC the enemy team. We're going to do this by looking for a fat E as soon as possible. Right there, I do find the 2-man stun onto the point. We find the Alex Strauss. So we have capped the boss at this point, so I am just going to pop my D and run away as best as I can. Alex Strauss is actually going to enable me to run away. I do find the stun onto the Anubrak, but he is able to E out before my stun is able to take place. And we do see Phoenix's ultimate, or teleport rather, is cancelled right there by a very well-timed Brightwing polymorph. I'm going to throw W on the ground just to heal myself up, and at this point, we're very firmly ahead in this game. I'm just going to fast forward on to the ending. At this point in time, we're just cleaning up the enemy team, and we've pretty much guaranteed the W. All we have to do really is capture the objective and rotate on out. So again, to summarize, guys, main tank Blaze, it's not that hard. All you have to do is have a competent range DPS, so party up with one if you want one. And throw down those Ws to control enemy space. And before you E, remember to throw down your W. And if you need to guarantee that it's going to hit, you gotta pop your D. It's those 3 things that you have to do to win the game as Blaze. Everything else is just kind of icing on top. But if you can manage those 3 things, you can tank with Blaze. You will find him to be very efficient at clearing waves. You will find him to be a very tanky boy who is very hard to kill. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Over Explained. That's going to do it for today's video. We do end up baiting the Anubrak there with a well-timed bunker, and from there we're just able to mosey on down to the core, clean things up, and finish that game. GG's guys, I hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you guys in the Nexus.